Hi, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum, here with you for the first Sunday of Advent. Advent are the 4 Sundays before Christmas, and it's really designed to help us deepen into the season spiritually. And we begin with hope, which is certainly appropriate. And I think especially even more so this year, it's been an incredibly challenging, different, even taxing year with COVID and elections, just all the things going on in the world, on top of all the normal stuff of births and passing and everything else. Rebecca Solnit, who's an American author, she wrote this about hope. She said, by not sowing defeatism and despair, including by pretending you have the gift of prophecy and devoting it to prophesying doom. We all know people that do that. Emotions are far more contagious than coronavirus 19, and hope is as contagious as fear. So as we enter into this first Sunday, this first week of Advent, remembering that hope is more contagious than fear, and let us be totally contagious as we go out there. I came across a wonderful song, not exactly a Christmas song, but it's a song about hope that is just so touching, and I think it may touch your heart too. So this is Natasha singing Hope.
I come to sing a song about hope. I'm not inspired much right now, but even so, I came out here to sing a song, so here I go. I guess I think that if I tinker long enough, one might appear. And look, it's here. One verse is done. The work's begun. I've come to sing a song about hope. In spite of everything ridiculous and sad, though I'm beyond belief depressed, confused and mad, I got dressed. I underestimated how much that would take. I didn't break until right now. I sing of hope and don't know how. So maybe I should substitute strength, because I'm strong enough. I got through lots of things I didn't think I could, and so did you. I know that's true. And so I sing a song about hope. Though I can't guarantee there's something real behind it, I have to try to show my children I can find it. And so today, when life seems crazy and impossible to bear, it must be there. Fear never wins. I sing of hope. See, I said hope. The work begins.
The work begins. Because I don't think hope just happens by itself. I think it really is work that we need to do. I think of hope as standing on the brink, the precipice of what is coming, feeling eager, optimistic anticipation with no feeling of impatience, doubt, or unworthiness hindering the receiving of what is to come, because the work has begun. Christmas season is the perfect time to practice hope, to just know that within us every day is that rebirthing process, that truly every day is the first day of our life, that our stories can be left behind and we can be filled with that great optimism of the co-creating that we do with spirit. In co-creating for our hearts, we know that there is going to be more love in the world. This is really what the Christmas story is all about, that spark of hope that carries us through to the birth, the divine birth of the Christ within us, represented by the story of Jesus' birth in Bethlehem. Well, last week we started on this series, and it's inspired by a book, Ask and It Is Given, by Jerry and Esther Hicks. It's about, they call it the teachings of Abraham, which defines itself as a group of entities reminding us of the laws of the universe. For me, I think of it as divine wisdom, that still small voice that we don't always listen to, that we sometimes just kind of write off, but knowing that when we're ready to hear the truth, that's going to help lift us up. We will hear it. It is always there, whispering to us, trying to get our attention. So last week we started on a rampage of appreciation, and I hope that really carried you through the Thanksgiving holiday, whether you were alone or with family, whatever. And just as a reminder, that rampage of appreciation was learning to be aware of our thoughts and to choose that thought that we want to create after its kind in our life, that third unity principle, that our thoughts are creative. And I shared with you that if we can hold on to that thought for 17 seconds, the energy of our thought starts a movement in the universe, in the ethers, in the unseen. And if we can hold on to that movement, that thought for 68 seconds, we actually begin the birthing process, the manifestation process for something new in our world, something new in our lives. And then the key thing is once you can do that 68 seconds, repeat, 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 repeat it until this thought that you have chosen, this thought of a higher vibration than maybe what you're living in this moment, becomes the dominant thought in your thinking and in your being. And I also touched on the idea of quantum entanglement, because we understand that we are one. We may look individually, may look separate, but the vibration of our energy, the human consciousness, the race consciousness of humanity is entangled in such a way that when we are able to lift ourselves up, all of humanity is lifted up. That we have this tangible effect, this impact on our world, that we can deliberately co-create a world that works for all, a world that is kinder and more loving, the world of our heart, if you will. Now, some of you over the years may have done treasure maps. I've done a few in my lifetime. I'm going to give you another idea. Since it's Christmas season and we wrap presents, what about creating a present for you for Christmas? Create a present for you that's like a treasure box, and in it, put those things that you want to co-create in your life. In mine, I have a little heart, a little beanbag heart, because I always like more love in my life, and a little humor too. This is one of my favorite little signs. It says, Jesus loves you, but I'm his favorite. Yeah, that always makes me laugh every time I read that. And a few other things in there. And you can do this too. Find pictures of things that sing to your heart. It doesn't have to have a reason. It's just something that maybe makes you smile or gives you warm fuzzies when you look at it, and put it in your box. But when you do this box, I'm going to advise you not to wrap it. And definitely don't begin to put string around it and make some knots. Because, a lot of us go, well, I'm doing all the right things. Why is this taking so long to manifest the life that I really want? And it's because of the knots. Yeah, the knots, that you're thinking, oh, I do not want it enough, or I am not intelligent enough, or I am not worthy enough. Anybody ever put those knots around their treasure chest of creation? And I will give you one knock that's a good one. Fate is not against you. The universe, nothing in the universe is against you. It's only you tying the knots. And someone else has not already gotten your whatever it is in your box. It's not like this is the limited universe that you got to squeeze out and fight for what you want. No, you just have to open, exactly the opposite, open to the flow of those qualities of living in wholeness and healthiness, emotional healthiness, happiness, that really connection to oneness. So to ease into the Christmas season, I thought I would bring up one of a song that always makes me smile. And it kind of reminds me of Christmas because people start asking for what's your Christmas list? It's a song called, let's go to the next slide here. My favorite things. So feel free to clap along with this, have fun with this. It's kind of like Clarkson. Brings us a little joy to start the season of hope.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
Whoop.
Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, isn't that true? Once we start thinking about those things that really make our hearts sing, we don't feel so bad. We feel hopeful. I got to stop this share. There we go. We feel hopeful. It lifts us up. And think about how you feel. One, the music is kind of light and it kind of lifts up our thinking, but also a doorbell, the sleigh bells, all of those create that sense of optimistic anticipation. There's just a not knowing how and not knowing what, but there's a vibration of a greater good that just begins to kind of warm up inside of us. In the Bible, there's some words that just really give me that comfort that I need when I'm in times of uncertainty. And the Apostle Paul, when he wrote to the Ephesians, he talks about confidence of access. Isn't that a great phrase? Confidence of access, that we would go about our life confident that we have access to the infinite resources of our universe, to all the love, to all the wisdom, to all the joy that we could ever hope to experience. And when we get into this mode, we understand that wherever our life is now, we're very likely in a vibrational holding pattern, especially the last 9 months. We've been kind of curtailed in some of our activities, and we've kind of, I find myself, it feels like the vibrations may be even being held at this little lower space. It's kind of a calm, low-key, hold your breath a little bit of anticipation. So that's why I like those little kittens, the idea of kittens and stuff. So when we are finding that the things that are in our treasure box, whatever that might be, and the treasure box may be in our heart or in our imagination or our minds, those things we want to go create, when they aren't matching, when they aren't in harmony, it's because we've caught ourselves in this vibrational pattern that holds us at a certain level of being because it's comfortable. There's that old saying, I know my family used to say, the better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I mean, why change it? Things may be bad, but they could be worse, right? Well, no, they could be better too. That's this wonderful way of releasing the story, releasing any resistant thoughts to having more joy and more good in our life. Right in the middle of the Bible, there's a story of Job, this poor man that got caught up, as the story goes, with a little bet between God and the devil. But the bottom line of it is Job, who had everything, he was very wealthy, he had lots of livestock and farms, he had a wonderful family, he was very healthy. And in the course of the story, he loses everything. First, he loses his wealth, then he loses his family, and then he loses his health. But still, in the back of his mind, there was this knowing that he had access, confident in his access. And God speaks to him and says, you will have confidence because there is hope. You will be protected and take your rest in safety. Let's face it, if there's only one power and one presence in the universe, we call God the good. What is there to be protected from? We can take our rest in safety, knowing that God is always present and God is there first, even when the situation might not be our preferred situation. So it's a reminder for us that confidence of access to create an attitude of desire within our lives, a desire to appreciate. Yeah, it's not about some woo-woo manipulation. It's about setting our thinking straight so that we can learn how to appreciate everything that's around us, to desire it, to welcome it into our life, so that the universe gets our vibration of saying yes to a greater good, yes to more peace, yes to more love, yes to more joy. Remember, we are always attracting those things that we want to say thank you to about. That's what we attract. What do we want to say thank you, thank you about? I'm so happy this is in my life. We talk about God as the infinite source, the divine source, and we talk about wholeness and holiness. Those words are very similar because our wholeness is our holiness. Another way to phrase this infinite power of the universe is a flow of well-being. Well-being. And that brings us back to our well-being does not take away from others. It enhances others because of this oneness, this quantum entanglement that lifts us all up. And to know that even when we are not feeling as if we're whole or holy, even if we're not feeling that we are a well-being, that the urge of the universe is always seeking us, always knocking at the door of our consciousness to say, hey, you're okay. You're going to get through this. You have all the tools that you need. Shifting us around to knowing that the universe is really supporting us instead of trying to trip us up really can only happen to us one feeling at a time. That when that thing happens that so disappoints us, that so breaks our heart, that we just take a minute and say, there is something good in this because God is in this. God is there first. And ultimately, it will be for a holiness within our lives. If you look around at your space right now, everything in it was created first in the non-physical. There was an idea. Maybe it was an idea about creating this angel over here, or the candle. It had been an idea before it was created. And the same thing is true when you think about the blossoms on a flower turn to seed. But at what point do they go from the blossom to the seed? When does it become the potential for the next new life? There is that flow of well-being in the universe that breaks through in the death of that blossom into the birthing of a new life, another flower, another tree, another idea. And when we understand that the source energy, this flow of God itself in and through our lives, when we get this deeper and deeper, we understand that you and I are standing on the leading edge of thought, that non-physical energy form that is going around. We are standing on the leading edge of thought. We are the momentum of evolution within humanity. Wow, I'm really impressed with you. You are on that leading edge of humanity leading us to evolution, and I get to stand there with you. And so do you, and so do you. We together, collectively, get to make a difference within our world. That shining light of hope moving us through the season. Creation is really a deliberate activity of ourselves. Hope is not some pie in the sky type of thing. It is a very scientific movement of our energy and our intention as we move forward. We do create our reality. If nothing else, whatever the circumstances are, we get to name it as a disaster or an opportunity. We get to name it. We get to claim the story that goes with it in our life. So whenever we are creating our life, let it be a state of demand where we ask and it is given. We seek and we find and we knock and the door is open. These are words the teacher Jesus shared. And there's another version of it in the New Thought translation, New Living translation. And I like this because it's more active. It says, keep on asking and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking and you will find what you are looking for. Keep on knocking and the door will be open to you. So it's not that you ask once. It's not that you seek once. It's not that you knock once. You keep on asking, you keep on seeking, you keep on knocking. And progress is made as we move forward in that evolutionary flow of humanity of which we are a part. So how do we ask? How do we seek? How do we knock? Yeah, isn't that always the question? Well, we're asking all the time by what we put our attention on. If we put our attention on the awfuls, that is what we grow more of in our life. So if we become conscious of where we put our attention, and if we do so with that loving spirit, this becomes an outpicturing of our desire, that impulse from our hearts. And within that grows that feeling of adoration that is told in the Christmas story of the Magi adoring the baby, of the shepherds in their adoration of the infant, of the mother and father, in deep adoration and love for this new creation. When we put ourselves into that, it's a very expansive way of thinking and feeling to be in a state of adoration. And when we do that, our mind opens to new ideas. And out of ideas, of course, comes the next manifestation. Asking and answering is like an unending cycle with us in the universe, giving and receiving, asking and answering. But every time we go around, our perspective changes just a bit. It gets a little broader, it gets a little higher. And as we get the bigger picture, our perspective becomes one of a loving detachment and a sense of confidence that we have access to this incredible power of God within each and every one of us. You know, the universe is always expanding. Without getting into what is it expanding into, what's beyond the universe, but it's the same way with us. There's a great sense of expansion and growth as we move through life. If we keep expanding, I don't know what into, except into that potential of that infinite well-being of which we were made and which we continue to create from. So as we enter into this holiday season, I have a little question for you. Let's see, here we go. Here we go. What do you do as a Christmas tradition that gives you hope? What do you do with all your traditions? Or maybe you only have one or two traditions you do this time of year. But what is it in that thing that you do in this season that gives you hope? If you don't have one, be sure to start one this year. But I bet you'd be surprised. We put a card in the mail filled with hope and assurance that that card is going to reach our loved one and let them know we are thinking of them. We put out lights to minimize the darkness of this time of year. We call people we maybe haven't called for a while. We have those traditions, those things we do this time of year, from baking a favorite recipe of the family to maybe it's a tree that we put up or a special ornament we hang each year that connects us from the past to the future, knowing that the future that awaits us truly is a great one. So I hope that you just totally indulge in a holiday tradition for yourself that will give you hope, that will show you the light into the darkness as we journey through this Advent season. We're going to take a little moment now to just have a gratitude celebration. Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing is so blessed which is all of us. We are so blessed because collectively we do whatever needs to be done to keep this ministry moving and being that flow of good in our neighborhood. I want to celebrate the 3 organizations that we are tithing to this half of the year. Punks with Lunch, serving the homeless people. Rise, that serve those that are dealing with recovery from addiction, and the Sunrise Movement, who is focused on protecting our earth. So that's a real joy for me in this season. And now let us celebrate our own personal prosperity, knowing that we have been given gifts untold, from sunrises and sunsets to chunky squirrels running all over the yard, to that special phone call, to that unexpected wonderful thing that has been brought into our life, a gift of a smile, maybe it's a gift in a package. So as we open our hearts to recognize that joy, that flow of asking and receiving, asking and answering, we affirm that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. And I celebrate with you for the wonderful blessings you have received in your life. So just a reminder, Unity is available to you on demand. You can watch it in little segments as it fits your schedule, or you can binge watch it all at one time. So if you haven't seen our opening, it's All Love. I think you'll enjoy that. And if you need a little time inside, join us for a meditation. God bless. And for those of you that would like the traditional ending, holding hands with those next to you or with yourself, let's join together as we sing, I Choose Love.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Yes, I do. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. choose.